Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing great today. In today's video I'm going to be talking about Linkin Park's album The Living Things and I'm going to state my favourite songs and all of the songs on it and what I think the band is trying to say with my favourite songs, and then also give suggestions to people who I think would like this. So without any further goddamn ado, Linkin Park, Living Things. So, this album has 12 songs on it, and as I've just shown you, both physical copy of the cover and the CD. And as usual, I'm gonna look at my computer that's beside me and I'm gonna say all of the song tracks within the album, then I'm gonna narrow it down to my favourites and then say what I think the band is trying to say. So it goes Lost in the Echo, In My Remains, Burn It Down, Lies, Grade, Mystery, I'll Be Gone, Castle of Glass, Victimized, Roads Untravelled, Skin to Burn, Until It Breaks, Tinfold, and Powerless. God, my dyslexia, it really struggled then with some of the song titles, but hey ho, that's normal for me. So, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Out of all of the Linkin Park albums, this one is one of them that I'm not too bothered about. Like, if I have the time and if I feel like listening to this album, I will listen to the full album, but it doesn't have that same love than all of the other Linkin Park albums have for me. So, I can listen to it okay, but, you know, I most of the time just listen to my favourites. And my favourites are 5, and it's Lost in the Echo, In My Remains, Burn It Down, Castle of Glass, and Victimized. So, like usual, I'm gonna list all of the favourite ones one by one and say what I personally like about it, why it's my favourite, and what I think the artist is trying to say within the song. The first one is Lost in the Echo. So, this is probably one of my favourites on the album. So, normally I kind of break it down even more to half of that and break it down to my top 2 or 3 if I have like 5 or 6 favourite songs. So this one's one of them, one of the 2 or 3 ones. Lost in the Echo is very lyrically based, more so. I mean, the beat is quite catchy, but I don't listen to the beat when I listen to Lost in the Echo. I listen to the lyrics mostly because it's a lot to do with like a death of a loved one, and the music video very much shows that. It shows people who have lost someone by family, and that family member is like still with them in like spirit form, and just by listening to the lyrics and not watching the video, I feel like it gives that vibe anyway, especially when it's like each word gets lost in the echo, so one last line I can see this time I finally let you go. It's very much like talking about how it's hard to let your loved ones who are past gone, but it's talking about I need to do this to move on myself. So that's why I like it. Now, the next one, I believe it's a carry-on from Lost in the Echo. It's called In My Remains. So, this one does have a more infectious beat to me. So I do kind of headbang or kind of groove to this one more than Lost in the Echo when it comes to the beat, but it has almost like the lasting effect to Lost in the Echo. Like, the two almost kind of go in a story together, and like Lost in the Echo is part one and In My Remains is part two, because it's singing about basically the same thing but from the other person's perspective, more so than the one that's died. And it's basically spoke about you've already died, like you as the individual, the one that's singing, and it's singing about what I think what they're trying to say is they thought about what they've done in life, and they're talking about In My Remains, that's what people are going to think of me of, especially when the lyrics are like, "And my remain, the promises that never came, let the silence fade to wash away the words down there." You know, it's talking about how they promised things that they couldn't do. So it's very much like, how could I do this to someone? And this next one is Burn It Down. So I feel like this one has moved on when it comes to the other two. This one is more the beat for me. So the computerized, structured sound of this album, they use quite a lot of that sound and experiment with it on this song, which I really like. And it's not to say that I don't like the lyrics, but it is more of a dancey thing for me for Burn It to the Ground. I think the music video is quite interesting as well. They use some special effects in it, which I think are quite cool. And it's just nice to see all of the band members as more mature, grown adults. You know, it's nice to see their evolution, because you can definitely tell with each album that they've had an evolution. Like, the first one was more about making a particular sound, and then the second one was talking about let's be more lyrical, and then the third one was being more commercialized when it comes to the sound, but yet still being heavy metal. And then with this one, I do feel like it's let's grow as a band and show our maturity by experimenting, which I obviously get and I'm all for. And when it comes to this song, how they've experimented is fun. So this next one, so I mentioned that even though I narrow it down to like my top 5 or 6, if there's like, and then I narrow it even more down to like my top 2 or 3. With this one, with this album, I probably have 2 main ones, and this one is my second one. So this one is called Castle of Glass, and both the music video and the track version has a different beat to it, and both of them are just as powerful as the others. It's so lyrically based and lyrically driven, but the beat is also really good as well, especially the soundtrack version. I personally prefer, music wise, the soundtrack version than the music video version, but you know, each to their own. From what I can gather, and from just my opinion, I think with Castle of Glass, they're talking about expectations that is placed upon us in society or within the family, and it's dealing with all of the feelings of I must do this a certain way or else someone won't like me, and it's all of that being built up within you, and then it comes together as a song, as a way to break free. So the next one is called Victimized, and Victimized is more like a half song, to be honest, because it's only 1 minute and 46 seconds, so it's a very short song. But even though it's only like half a song when it comes to how long it is, the lyrics in it is really good, and the beat is like really infectious. It's probably one of the rockiest tracks on here. Like, a lot of the sound on this track is computerized ness. Like, I don't know what the actual name is, but it sounds quite computerized. With this one, sounds more like typical Linkin Park stuff, but just without the DJ scratches. But yeah, I think the B is really good with this, and I think that the lyrics, like I say, is good. It's about basically feeling like a victim in certain circumstances, but also not seeing yourself as that way. So you feel like a victim and you scream, and then you let it out, and then you kind of move on with life. I would say that this would be one of my 2 top favourites if it wasn't so short. Like, even though I love the song, I would have liked it to have gotten bigger, like the average length song, so I can get more of a story on it. So that's all my favourites done. So I'm gonna now explain what I think the sound is and what I think other people might like about this track and this album. I think this track, like I say, is quite computerized, and even though it still has a screamy vibe to it, like typical Linkin Park sound, and there's still some rapping in it, the big difference between this album and the other ones is the fact that they've used computerized sounds to it. So I would say if you like the modern sound of like computer-esque sounding music, or you kind of like, it's not dubstep, but it's on the same wavelength of dubstep because that's computerized as well. So if you like generic computerized stuff, I would actually suggest to them people, just for that reason, that they could listen to this, even if they don't really like rock. Maybe it could win them over, because most of the sound in this album is computerized. Alright, I think I've said everything I want about this album. I can't think of anything else. So I'm going to say adieu for today. If you liked this video, obviously give it a like and subscribe down below. I'll link my socials down below, my Twitters, and also my second YouTube channel where I talk about my experience as a gay guy, and I am basically your non-leftist woke version of a gay guy. So you'll get this perspective in that. If you have an opinion that's similar to mine or not similar to mine about the album or about the band, please let me know, because I'd love to hear. So, hope you have a great day and see ya.